It's time for Clubhouse Chatter. Here are the guys, Norm and Joe.
Hey, that's right. We're back for another last episode of the day. And today we have the general manager of the Alaska Goldpanners of Fairbanks, one of the most iconic college wood bat summer league teams, period, around.
Some big stars to come through there, yeah.
Big stars. You know, when you go to their website and you take a look at the player roster from years past, I mean, it just blows your mind. Mm-hmm. And John Lohrke is that man. John, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me. Nice being with you.
So now, how long you been general manager up there?
Just a little over a year.
Okay.
A little over a year. Just a board member for a while, and we business people, do different things, but jumped back in kind of with both feet a year ago, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
And now the Goldpanners, like I said, they have. I mean, you guys have a huge history. Some of the players, I was looking at, just kind of, it just blows your mind. I mean, we're talking Barry Bonds, Jason Giambi, Don Reynolds, Harold Reynolds, Dan Pastorini, quarterback. Out of the NFL, and the list just goes on. Bill Lee, the spaceman, it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, the history for sure. You get back into the 60s, they're like the most prestigious summer league at that time, and just attracted guys from all over the country, and especially the top schools on the West Coast. Santa Clara, USC. UCLA, Pepperdine, so many good ones, Santa Barbara, Long Beach States, and there's just a lot of them amazing guys that have come through here as collegians.
And so let's talk about the league. What is the league that you guys play in?
Well, we're going to play an independent schedule this year, like we did last year.
Okay.
Saves us a little bit of money, but it allows us to do some things. We're actually coming down that way and then headed up to British Columbia. We're going to spend a couple weeks in British Columbia during the middle of the season, which kind of makes it virtually impossible for us to play in the league this year. So we're putting together a non-league schedule and going up to play in Grand Forks and Kelowna and Kamloops and for a couple weeks, and then head back up here for a couple weeks to finish the summer.
So you said you've been the general manager for about a year and then some change. How long have you been with the team in general? I'm sure it's been a longer process than that.
Well, I go back all the way to 1980. There was a new team that started up then called the North Pole Knicks.
Yep.
That's real.
It is real.
Yeah, but I had just finished college down in Santa Clara, and I heard the coach was going to Alaska that summer, so I asked him if I could join him. And came up here, and as like I said, brand new team, and some local business people approached me and asked me if I'd stay and be the general manager for that team. And over the course of the next 7 years or so, we did really well. We had Mark Grace and Todd Seal and
Jim Campanis.
Mike Schooler, you remember him, a reliever for the Mariners.
Yep.
And we had
Jim Campanis played with you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I mean, we did really well. We ended up having about 27 major leaguers come through in 7 years, and had some top-notch college coaches here. Mike Gillespie, who's now at UC Irvine, who's been a National Coach of the Year and won an NCAA championship when he went to USC. So, and then just after that season in '87, I kind of got my business hat on and started getting in the business world and had to put it aside, but. It's just sort of off and on, a board member and summer parent and that kind of stuff. So, but now, in the last year, just kind of really got back into it and wanted to help this organization again.
Now you've got big shoes to fill, with Todd Dennis there, and Todd being associated with them forever.
Oh, geez. Yeah, the whole Dennis family. Certainly
yes.
Don, his dad, goes way back to the 60s and considered, the pinnacle of semi-pro general managers in the country. It did so well, and then Todd took over in his steps. And, I've got some big shoes to fill, and sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming with my full-time job as well and doing this too. But, baseball's my passion, and I love doing it.
So let's, playing in Alaska, I'm sure has its
ups and its downs.
I mean, like up here in Northwest Oregon, of course, you got to deal with the rain. And
you guys got the sun
you guys got
to deal with.
you do.
Yeah.
And so
last year we had a lot of the rain too.
Yeah,
it wouldn't go away last summer.
And so normally you guys don't have a lot of that rain, no.
No, normally it's just a really nice sunny summer with temps somewhere in the 60 to 85 area, and it's just great. But last year, yeah, we had to do a lot of work to get the field ready on some nights, and it made for some smaller crowds because it just was threatening quite often. We actually had the first postponement of the Midnight Sun game, which ended up getting finished the following day. So it was, we only had a couple rainouts, but boy, it sure felt like more when we were into it.
And so let's talk a little bit about the Midnight Sun game. The Midnight Sun game is actually on my bucket list of baseball things to do.
Probably one of the coolest experiences.
It is. And
you got to get here, guys.
And Brian will be there this year. He's got his tickets already done.
I'm ready.
He's going up. And, tell us a little bit about how the Midnight Sun game works.
Midnight Sun game is just our feature game. It's, we're taking orders online and people to pick up the phone and call us. It's a game that we play without artificial lights, and we started oftentimes in the past it's been 10:30 at night. This year we're going to move it up a little bit to 10 because we're on a weeknight, so hopefully we can get even more people out. But it's just one of those games that so many people, it's on, like you said, the bucket list for so many of the things if you're a baseball fan to do in your life. So people come from all over. We're playing a team from San Diego this year, and just it'll be a big night. It just comes in the whole deal with the community here with the summer solstice and all the things that go on around the 21st of June, and it's just so much going on around town. You've got runs that take place throughout the city. It's just a good time. And that game is one part of it, and it attracts people from everywhere.
Brian's really excited, by the way. He is. He's, we talked about this. We've had Todd Dennis on the show, and we've talked about the Midnight Sun quite a bit, between Brian and I, and finally he goes, I think I'm going to go this year.
Well, it just happened to work out. We have some friends who have their son stationed there at the Air Force Base, and they're like, hey, are you interested? And within 2 seconds, like, yes, I will go, we will go. So I'm looking pretty excited about it. And, of course, I've kind of turned the whole focus of the trip now into the Midnight Sun game, but that's okay. That's kind of fun.
Hard to blame you there.
I know.
So we definitely would like to set up something for possibly Brian, setting up a couple of interviews, possibly, if that's possible, somewhere along the line. So.
Oh, absolutely. Love to do it.
And so now, tell us a little bit about your background. I mean, did you play growing up, and then who did you follow?
No, I didn't play. Well, I did. I just wasn't good enough. The little bit of my pedigree, my dad was a major leaguer. My dad has if you'd Google my last name, you'd see a guy by the name of Lohrke. My dad was really it's an incredible story of how he got that nickname. If you have just a couple minutes, I could tell it to you because it's really,
absolutely,
it's one of those you got to be kidding me type of thing. So, my dad was playing just real briefly in the minor leagues, and then in 1943, joined the Army in World War II. So survived both the landing at Normandy and the Battle of the Bulge. And then as he lives in L.A., so as he's coming home from the war. Halfway across the country, the plane refuels in the Kansas City area. So as he gets ready to get back on the plane, a guy with higher rank than him says, no, I'm taking this flight, you take the next one. And the plane ends up crashing. No survivors. So my dad avoided that. Then he's playing in the minor leagues in Spokane, Class B ball.
Oh, the bus accident.
For the Indians. He's doing so well. He's getting rumors that he's going to move all the way up to San Diego AAA. And so the team starts on a road trip toward Seattle. And as it gets to the diner, somehow a cop or something catches up to the team and says, hey, Lohrke, you've been recalled. You need to get back to Spokane because you are moving up to San Diego. So my dad says goodbye to all his teammates and hitchhikes back to Spokane. The bus continues on a road trip and goes over a cliff.
Yes.
Wow.
9 guys died. I don't know if you're familiar with that story.
I am actually. There was a book written. I can't remember the name of the book, and I met the lady who wrote the book at a Salem Kaiser Volcanoes game. Absolutely, yeah. I have the book somewhere, and that tells the story of that bus accident.
Lucky Lohrke.
Yes.
Yeah. So between the war and the plane crash and then the bus crash you avoided, so then he breaks in as a rookie one year, different every time. I think, hear about Jackie Robinson and all the guys wear 42 every year. So my dad played 5-6 years in the major leagues there in the Giants, played on the Bobby Thompson Miracle home run team of 51. Then my brother was really good. He was a top-notch player, drafted in 71 with the Red Sox, and actually went to school with Pastorini that you mentioned before in Santa Clara. So that's where Dan's from. So, but yeah, I mean, I couldn't help but get involved in baseball when I grew up. So I got into it on an administrative level and, sports information department at school, press releases, stats, and that kind of stuff. And next thing you know, I found myself in Alaska.
Huh. Interesting. And so the Goldpanners, I think the Goldpanners have one of the more iconic hats. Have you ever seen the hat? They got the star, and then usually it's the number 49 in it. And tell us a little bit. Do you know the story of how that became the star? I mean, I know it's 49th state and everything, but
I don't know the story of how they came to we came to have that hat. I don't know when it started, but you're right. It's one of those hats that it's just so recognizable, and once you see it, that's it this year. And we kind of interchange it between, a red hat. And this year we're going to wear a navy blue hat.
Oh, nice!
Which is very, very popular with our fans. So, but yeah, it really stands out once you see it. You know exactly what team it is.
Well, that's really a feat. I mean, most people won't even recognize minor league hats, let alone an independent league, and that's really cool. Yeah, quite a history. That's amazing what the Dennis family has done here, and the community worked so hard to keep this team going. But it's the pedigree is really incredible. So, John, it seems like obviously there's been a lot of really top-notch players that have gone through the Goldpanners. Do you have any idea as to why? Is there just some magic up there that we're not seeing down here, or what's the appeal?
Well, I think, certainly it's the history is that, when players play at school and then they get toward their summer, they want to continue to get better, and they have aspirations to be major leaguers and get in and play professional baseball, and coaches understand that, and coaches go around and they want to make names for themselves, so they go around to these different leagues throughout the country. And certainly as you get back into the 60s and 70s, there just weren't as many.
Right.
Yeah.
And Alaska was the top. We're talking about bringing teams from the Orient to play here, having a team that just barnstorms around the country, and plays in different areas throughout that. A home-and-home thing that with Japan that happened years ago. It's really amazing that it wasn't just the league here itself. It's just the management with Don Dennis always wanted to put the team out there on more of an international level, which really, really appealed to coaches and certainly players that would want to play here. So you'd get the top-notch talent from around the country. And, just amazing. My first summer up here, I'm sitting just walking around the park, and we shared the park with the team at that time. And, there's Harold Reynolds and Alvin Davis, guys certainly that came through and played there at Seattle. And, Kevin McReynolds was right there at that time. And a year later, there's other guys, Shane Mack and Oda B. McDowell and some of those other guys. Like, my gosh. So
the roster is crazy.
Really amazing guys. Yeah, the roster is.
It is. It's amazing. And, and you can't, you're more than welcome to check it out, and I've kind of put it up against, some of the Cape Cod.
Really?
The Cape Cod League, don't get me wrong, Cape Cod League gets their fair share. But, you go back to the 60s and 70s, the Alaskan League was it. Like you said, it was.
It was it. That's right.
That's where all the stars went.
Well, and a lot of these guys, I mean, it kind of speaks to the networking that goes on within baseball, that a lot of the guys that made it to the Goldpanners, these big names, were from baseball families. You talk about the Reynolds brothers, Don and Harold, Barry, obviously, his dad was a pro, the Giambis, I think you mentioned Campanis.
Yeah.
Those are
He
the
played with
Boone
North Pole
family,
Knicks,
Brett
those with
Boone,
North Pole.
Boone,
yeah. Those are all
guys,
baseball families. They got generations worth of players in there. It's kind of crazy how that works out.
I was noticing that, you've got a couple of baseball card sets up for sale, and you need to come up with like the all-time Goldpanners team.
That would be hard to do.
It would be hard to do.
It's one of those things. Once you start leaving someone off, boy, it's tough. So that's kind of why they sort of.
That's one of those ones where it's
different decades, because there's so many good ones.
Right.
We'll just have to give you a 40-man roster to deal with.
40-man roster. No kidding. And so let's talk a little bit about this year's team. Can you tell us a little bit about the manager and the roster, how the roster is shaping up?
Standout players, maybe.
Yeah, we hope so. We don't at this point. You see, some kids that, like any baseball season, when you get into it, you look at what you've got and you wonder, but summers have a way of changing things, and you say, oh, this kid, and then comes up, and it's like, it's a little bit of a shock for a lot of guys to be away from home. Playing every day is very much a pro type experience. Being gone, some guys really thrive on it, and other guys struggle with it. So it's you never really know. But we've got some kids out of the Texas area. We got a kid from the University of Michigan. Our head coach is Dave Nakama from Treasure Valley Community College there on the
Ontario,
between Oregon and on Ontario.
Yeah, he's a good coach. He's a heck of a coach.
He's a real good coach. He's been at University of Washington there, and then last 4 years he'd been at San Jose State. He was a head recruiting guy at Stanford for 9 years or so. So we've got some good pedigree here, and then we've got Mike Lopez, whose dad is pretty much a summer baseball a college baseball coach and icon out of the Arizona area.
Yep.
His dad, Andy Lopez. So Mike's going to come up. He's coaching at Howard at a small college in Texas area. So we hope those two guys are new to us. So it's pretty much all new personnel this summer. So hopefully we can make a good summer of it. We've got kids from from Fullerton. We've got kids from San Diego. So we've got we're looking at some top-notch schools that we know we can count on to send us good players.
So now, playing an independent schedule, how does that affect? Now, are you guys not qualifying for Wichita anymore?
No, we went to Wichita last year and finished in the top 8. But with our organization, and none of this is meant to be to kind of we pat ourselves on the back a little because of what you talked about of what we've done in the past and how many national championships we've won there. But we pretty much have an open invitation to go back to Wichita whenever we'd like to. They really don't require us to qualify through any league or tournament or anything like that. So
that's quite the
Kevin
honor.
Jenks and the guys there at NBC just say, if you get here. So we're going to see how our finances do at the end of the summer as we have that 2-week stretch in British Columbia, which will be a little bit spendy, but maybe we can win a tournament or two there and get some prize money and possibly go to Wichita at the end of the summer. We're just going to leave that open for now.
I just want to throw out there that, Major League and minor league baseball, it's all fine and dandy, but if you really want to watch some fun baseball, this is,
independent,
the collegiate wood bat. I mean, it's awesome. You've got the Corvallis Knights around here, the Portland Pickles. It's fun baseball. These college guys. They're looking at getting better. That's really competitive.
Yeah.
And it doesn't surprise me that you guys have an open invitation to go back to Wichita every year because, I mean, in a lot of ways, the Alaska Goldpanners are a big part of why the wood bat leagues in the summer for the college players have thrived.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We set the groundwork for a lot of that, and if you get back to Lawrence Dumont Stadium in Wichita and walk around the ballpark, it's amazing how many different areas of the park with all the pictures up and some of the different plaques, how much of it has to do with the Goldpanners and the history of that tournament. It's really amazing.
Once again, John Lohrke, general manager of the Goldpanners. Brian, you got anything to add?
Well, I'm just excited to. Do I need to get there early, John, or what's the best advice? I am. I'm ready to go. I'm so ready. Got my tickets already.
Well, we just got to get this. We just got to get a bunch of this white stuff off the ground. Still, it's very, very late. I don't know if a lot of the weather that we have here tends to make its way down there, and the extremes and how the weather patterns come down from Alaska. But I don't know how your spring's been, but ours is really late. It's like 3 weeks late, and so we've still got ice. We're just now clearing the field so we can play.
Wow.
It's really been hard on the high school sports, and some of the youth are going to have a little bit of a delayed start this summer. I don't know what it's like down there.
It's wet. We've been a lot of rain, and so we're along the same boat. I was on I work for the Parks and Rec here in town, and I was on one of our fields yesterday, and the outfield was just
puddles.
I mean, it was muddy. Yeah, I mean,
oh God.
And our opening day is May 13th, and I don't see how we're going to even get on fields before then.
Jeez.
You know, we got a week of decent weather supposedly this week.
It's supposed to be nice this week.
And so, but we're in the same boat except for we don't have the ice and the snow.
Need to dry out, huh?
Yep. So one last question. What is, being a general manager, there's a lot that goes into that position.
Oh, yeah.
What is your absolute favorite thing about being general manager of the Alaska Goldpanners?
The relationships, it's certainly all the groundwork that goes into the season and getting everything set up, at the ballpark and tickets and all those things and arranging hotels and transportation and all that kind of stuff. But the most enjoyable part is always the people, the coaches when they get off the plane, when they're, appreciative of what the town's done to get the park ready and get them a place to stay. Certainly the relationships that happen over the years between the summer parents, because that's where the kids stay. People put their homes up and kids stay with them for the summer, and some of those relationships are lifelong lasting. So that's the best part, just the people you meet, and certainly when you get into athletics and over the years and the relationships and it's just amazing how far it stretches and how this guy, you worked with him, he knows that guy, and those are the things that you just can't replace. It's just amazing.
Hey, what size shirt do you wear?
What size shirt I wear? I'd say a large.
All right, I'll make sure I'll send a couple of Clubhouse chatter shirts with Brian when he comes up in June.
Great.
And so
appreciate that very much.
We appreciate you coming on the show and telling us a little bit about yourself and the Goldpanners. And like I said, it is the most iconic collegiate summer team. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. You go down and it just the roster, the all-time roster, just blows your mind.
It really does, yeah. Yeah, I appreciate it. But former major leaguers now, right in the 200 area.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Not just pro baseball players, but major leaguers, 200.
Brian, you got anything else to add here?
I'm just looking forward to meeting you, John, and it should be fun, and I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll have good weather and not a repeat of last year.
Yeah, no, I hope we have good weather too for that game and a lot of games this summer, but looking forward to seeing you too, Brian, and can't wait for the summer to get started.
Absolutely. Once again, John Lohrke, General Manager of the Alaska Goldpanners of Fairbanks. John, thanks for coming on the show.
It's great talking to you, John.
Thanks for having me. Enjoyed talking to you guys. Have a good day.
Take care. Once again, and I know, Brian, I know you've looked at the roster, the all-time roster.
I have.
And Joe, you need to. As a baseball fan, you need to go to their website and take a look at it. And, I mean, it just blows you away.
Bill Spaceman Lee.
The Spaceman.
He lost his first game, I believe, in '67.
Yes.
When he played there. But he avenged it, I can't remember how many years later, but in 2008.
Yes.
And he won over, I want to say, 4,900 fans were there for the game. And that's the second biggest
crowd ever.
The first biggest was his
loss
in '67.
Yeah.
Really?
5,200.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of people. I mean, the field looks amazing. It's so different than any other field, which is awesome.
You know, there's a lot to like about the Goldpanners. I mean, number one, you know, you look at their, you know, the Dennises forever. The Dennis family ran it forever, and it's crazy. Jake Dunning, who pitched with the Salem Kaiser Volcanoes and went on with the Giants, he was telling me a story of taking batting practice at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was light.
Broad daylight.
You know, he said it was just really odd.
There's a lot of you can read a lot of different excerpts of different players who played there and talk about their experience, and just, I mean, you can stay up and, you know, you have no idea what time it is when you're there.
You don't.
Yeah, that would mess with me a lot.
And so once again, you know, hey, you know, the Cape Cod League is great, and there's a lot of great summer leagues. We had somebody on from the Forest City Owls last year, from the Coastal Plain League. You know, there's just some great college summer baseball being played in these leagues. And you ever get a chance to go take in some, you know, the Gresham Grey Wolves or the Portland Pickles or the Corvallis Knights, do it. There's some great young talent.
Yeah, the Pickles are fun. And
they play at Walker Stadium, which is like my new all-time favorite now.
Dwayne touched on that earlier. That renovation, the place looks great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian went to a Pickles game, and I think he kind of agrees with me.
Yeah, I had a great time. You know, where else you can get a pickle-flavored snow cone? I mean, right. And the coolest thing is you order your pickle. Had a pickle at the Pickles game, which is great. And then our friend's daughter, she wanted a snow cone, and she's like, pickle flavor? Oh. You bet.
I'm going to stick to my sunflower seeds.
Oh, yes. You know, they have the pickle flavor sunflower seeds there, too.
We are Clubhouse Chatter. That's Joe. That's Brian. I'm Norm. Joe, let's talk a little bit. So we hit on some hitting.
Let's talk about pitching.
Let's talk a little bit about pitching. What's standing out right now to you?
Well, we'll talk about the good and the bad a little bit. Chris Sale is lighting the world on fire right now. He struck out 52 batters in just 37.2 innings.
Good God.
The Red Sox gave up a ton to get him, but so far it's looking like it's worth it. A 1.19 ERA. He's only 1-2 on the season, so that speaks to
a little deceptive there.
Well, that speaks to the win thing again, and you know, Brian Kenny, the famed
wins are overrated.
Wins are overrated. Kill the W, all that. I'm on board with it. You know, when you're looking at the best pitcher in the league so far, has more losses than wins because of how the stat works out. Moving along, you got Irvin Santana has the lowest ERA, Twins starter, at 0.77.
That's unreal.
What's unreal is his left on base percentage of, I'm not kidding, 99%.
Wow.
99%.
Wow.
That's one, maybe two base runners so far have scored.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
And that's one of those new stats that they've had. I mean, I kind of like it, you know, and man, 99%.
That's crazy. It's ridiculous.
How about what do we got in relievers wise?
Relievers, you can't talk about relievers without talking about Greg Holland.
Jeez,
he's unreal right now. The Rockies have been off to a real hot start. No small part to the pitching. Greg Holland is 11 for 11 in save opportunities so far, leading the league in that category. And he missed last year due to Tommy John, I believe.
Right.
He was with the Royals for a long time, one of the best relievers in the game. And he's keeping it up in Colorado, which is no easy.
No, absolutely
easy feat.
not.
Yeah, no one really comes to Colorado. It's hard to come to Colorado and keep that success as a pitcher. The Blue Jays will be getting Aaron Sanchez back soon, so maybe we'll be seeing a rebound in Toronto. Hopefully, that was kind of their.
They're not looking
ace.
Good right now.
No, they're not. He was their staff ace last year, the youngest guy in the rotation, and he's been out so far. And they get him back, it might.
So let me ask you this:
around.
I know it's early season, Brian. I want you to get on this action. I know it's early season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're just getting into May.
Mm-hmm.
With the start that the Blue Jays have had, and the way that the American League East,
I know where you're going.
Are the Blue Jays out of it?
No,
Brian.
Not a chance.
Okay.
No.
I think we're getting close. But yeah, we're not even into May yet. No, I agree. I've heard some people say, yeah, they're out of it, but I don't think so.
You can look at the standings in April and flip them upside down by September.
Because I'll tell you what, the Blue Jays are going to catch fire.
Yeah.
Everybody cannot be. I mean, they're going to hit the ball.
Well, there's teams that go. 50 and 25 after the All-Star break. There's teams that go 25 and 50 after the All-Star break.
Absolutely.
So you have no idea. I mean, I think it's still too early to tell. But
I agree.
They got Sanchez coming back, J. Happ coming back. Maybe they just need to get a roll. Maybe I think the pitching in Baltimore is going to falter, and then, I think it'll even out a little bit.
I agree.
I think it'll even out. Another notable pitcher right now is Mariners' James Paxton. He was
surprise.
Yeah, I know, right? Brian, you can get a smile back on your face. We're talking about good Mariners stuff.
I'm excited now.
He 1.39 ERA, been worth almost 2 wins above replacement so far. Striking out more batters than innings pitched, 39 Ks to 32 innings. That's what they need in Seattle.
They do.
That's what they needed.
Especially now with King Felix out for 4 to 6 weeks.
King Felix out. They traded Taijuan Walker too.
Oh man.
So, they need a staple.
The Mariners are struggling, and I think that American League West, with the Astros and the Rangers, I think the Angels are going to be better than what people think they're going to be better.
The Astros, you said?
No. The Angels.
The Angels.
The Angels are going to be better than what a lot of people think.
They're not bad. They're about 500 right now.
They're not going to.
They would,
I think they will. In the end, I think they will finish, ahead of the Mariners. And the A's. I mean, you never know with the A's.
You never.
They've got some talent. You got Sonny Gray coming back, and nobody knows. We're not even into the month of May yet.
Not even May yet.
And you got the Yankees leading the world, which. That's not going to continue.
No, it's not.
Aaron Judge is a rookie. He's going to start, swinging and missing more.
Well, and Michael Pineda is a streaky pitcher.
He's very streaky.
And he's been on the hot, and eventually he's going to cool off.
Yeah.
And when he does, it's going to be tough. The Yankees have been real lucky so far. Their bullpen is killer, though. So
yes,
you got to give them props for the bullpen. Dylan Betances, Roldis Chapman, of course.
Teams with good pitching have done okay so far, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't it switch when it starts heating up? The ball starts flying a little bit more?
The ball starts flying out. The hitters get into rhythm and stuff.
I don't know. The ball's been flying.
It's been flying a lot.
The ball has been flying.
Holy cow. It has been. I mean, it's been a crazy first month of the season.
Well, and the same thing happened last year. I mean, we've seen a huge spike in home runs. It's been the most since really the steroid era.
Juice
that
ball?
we've seen. I don't know. I'm gonna cop out on that one.
Brian?
I'm going to cop out to yes, it's a juice ball. What do you expect?
Come on.
They've got to get more people watching the game. I mean, you've got to.
Launch angle. No. It's hitting
launch angle.
Launch angle.
Explain.
Pitchers are going for strikeouts, which means they're throwing a lot of fastballs, throwing a lot of, they're pitching differently. Players are they're being coached in a way that directs them towards hitting the ball hard, hitting it out. They strike out more, but they hit more home runs. That's why guys like Freddie Galvis, these little guys are hitting 20 home runs in a year.
Then explain to me Mike Zunino. Why can't the guy hit his way out of a paper bag?
Well,
I love the guy. He's a great catcher, but he just can't hit.
Well, it doesn't solve everyone's problems.
But he could hit in college. What's the difference besides the pitching and everything
he could
else?
hit with the Everett Aqua Sox.
Yes, he could.
There's guys that crush it in the minors. That 4A guys is what they call them. They're hitting 300 with 40 home runs in AAA, but they can't hit major league pitching.
Yeah.
So our Mike Zunino story is where he started with the Everett Aqua Sox and opened his career up here in Salem Kaiser
for 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
I remember we're at this game. Brian is in the stands with his camera. I'm there as well. And Zunino, his second game, he hits 2 home runs, and one of the shots hit the scoreboard.
Wow.
And it was still rising, and we argued over what kind of a shot it was. Was it a laser? Was it a cannon? And Brian actually put video up of it up on YouTube, and everybody was just like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah, he was crushing it when he was first coming up.
He quite possibly, Zunino was quite possibly the best hitter to start a career.
Yeah, he was on fire. I mean, his first game, he hit 2 home runs. Comes to Salem, hits one home run the first game there,
two the second
two
night.
the second night. I mean, the guy then he got yanked up.
And then you watch him interact with everybody. And I mean, he'd be catching in the bullpen, and he would all of a sudden just stand up, take off his mask, go over to the fence, and sign for
start
kids.
Talking. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
the best part though was that guy who was commentating in the video. That's hitting the scoreboard. Listen to this guy.
You got 2 home runs tonight. One last night. You're on the way to the Jackson General.
And by the way, that was not me, and that was during the time when I was working as security, and so I know the guy who you're talking about, and yeah, I've had to remove him a couple times.
Wow.
It's had 1.2 thousand views.
I'll tell you what.
That was a loud shot on the scoreboard.
And that's the thing is you listen to it come off the bat. I mean, you have to be there to really get it in. I mean, it was different sounding. I mean, I've been to hundreds, thousands of games at Volcano Stadium, and nothing ever.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah.
And that was the sound as it hits the scoreboard. The only player in the time that I been going to Volcanoes games, which has been a long time, was Connor Jackson.
Really?
Connor Jackson was with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and his dad was on the show Jag. And Connor was a doubles machine.
Yeah.
And, there was a couple of times to where you had that different sound coming off the bat. And,
that clean crack.
Oh, man.
I remember as a player, it felt so good. It felt amazing.
Zanino's, no joke, Zanino, that video that you heard, there was people over down on third base, down in the bar, and just watching the people, you hear that crack of the bat, it got people's attention.
Everybody stops
doing what they're absolutely. And then you've got the thud of it hitting the scoreboard.
All 34 people in attendance just went, whoa.
Ouch.
I mock, but it's true.
There was more than that, but probably not many.
Yeah.
It was
when you talk about the crack of the bat, though, I remember when Ryan Howard was in his prime. Even if I was listening, not watching the game, you could tell off the sound of the bat if it was gone.
Yes.
You could just hear
absolutely.
that clean, just crisp crack, and you knew it was gone. It was out.
Yep.
But
with that said, man, Mike Zanino hit start. Golly, and they've got Tino up there.
Yeah.
And Scott Brocious.
They're trying everything with him.
He, Edgar's the coach now, the hitting coach.
Edgar, not Tino.
Not Tino. Yeah.
We knew what you meant.
It was a Martinez.
It was Martinez. That's the thing. I mean, when he was coming up, I forget who their hitting coach was, but he got let go pretty abruptly.
Yes.
And a lot of guys that came up, Zunino, Dustin Ackley, a lot of those guys, Nick Franklin, that came up around that time, they kind of fell apart when they came to the majors. And,
right.
Without a good hitting coach that directs you towards, how to make those adjustments and things like that.
Mike Zanino, one of the best guys in the game, though. I mean, talking about personalities, and he definitely, he's a player that you want to do well. He's a player you want to hit 250.
Right. At least.
And
not hovering around.
I'll take 210 at this point.
Yeah, he's hovering around the Mendoza. He's under it, isn't he?
He was 207 last I checked.
So
but he's
the
pretty
question
close.
is, maybe we need to rename it the Zanino line.
I thought we liked the guy.
Well, Mario Mendoza. Everybody loves Mario Mendoza.
Well, he doesn't. I thought it was Luis Mendoza.
Well, either or.
Whatever it is.
Luis or Mario.
I thought it was Jessica Mendoza.
I don't think he likes that it's named after him.
Probably not. Probably
he's
not.
proud of that.
Hey, once again, we are Clubhouse Chatter. Brian, Joe, Norm. We are sponsored by baseballisms.com. If you like Brian's hat or my shirt or hat, baseballism.com. We are also sponsored by nwibl.org. Check them out. Looking for a team to play on this summer here in the Portland metro area. Also sponsored by baseballdudes.com. To be the best, you must train like the best. Chris Gazelle up there in Vancouver. Wah. Based by Pros. Mitch Canham. Building an athlete sports education. Basedbypros.com. His dad, Mark Canham, MDM Designs, does our shirts, Clubhouse Chatter. And we stream live every time we do a show at, I already got Based by Pros. You want to do them again? YamHillToday.com. We stream live every show. Check them out.
I just hit the Mendoza line, sorry.
Yes. And you can find us, if you want to sponsor or ask a question or give us a suggestion, tell us to shut the hell up or whatever, normboy18@gmail.com. We are on Clubhouse Chatter 1T, Facebook, iTunes, YouTube. We're everywhere. Just do a search and you can find us. Joe, thanks for stopping in.
Hey, I love being here.
Hey, Brian, what's going on for next Sunday? Are we good?
Next Sunday, I will be at a golf tournament.
That's right. So we're taking.
You guys
want to
hang out? You can.
We're going to give you the best of Clubhouse Chatter.
Ooh.
Best of
I'm excited.
Best of Clubhouse Chatter.
BOCC.
Yes. And so,
It's a balk.
here we go. Hey, if you're listening, what show do you want to hear on the best of?
There we go.
Shoot me a message and let me know.
There we go.
Or I'm just going to give you Buzz Osborne.
Sounds good.
Or we'll just talk to Buzz.
All right. Hey, everybody have a good and safe week. Enjoy the sun coming up. That's Brian. I'm Norm. Joe. Hey.
Have a good week,
Clubhouse
guys.
Chatter, and we'll chat soon.